Hey everyone, this is Corinne Lafont, your favorite radio host, your only radio host, of course, and your favorite girl. Come on, broadcasting to you from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean on Between the Lines. And you know, I always start my show off with gratitude, and I'm so grateful to be here again. It's another day, another chance, another do over, another fresh set of mercies and grace. And you know, even though it's overcast today, it's a beautiful overcast where I am in Trinidad. It started off pretty sunny and then the weather changes kind of like up and down when it's ready, but just like life, it's up and down. But we
Hmm.
just have to cope with it. And it's amazing that by the end of the day, you know, the, it just looks more beautiful than how it started off. Yes,
Right. Hmm.
it just looks so much more beautiful. And that's just how life is. And I want to introduce to you Andrew Shaktin. Is that correct? Did I pronounce your name correct, Andrew?
That's right, Corinne. That's
Yeah,
fine.
Andrew. So we're going to call him Andrew today. And let me tell you a quick bit about him and the topic, what we're going to be talking about. So let me tell you the topic we're talking about today, the world's view of us. How do we define ourselves? Let me repeat that. The world's view of us. How do we define ourselves? And let me tell you a little bit about Andrew so we can spend the time talking about this topic. Andrew Shakting is the author of 5 books with more planned. I'm sure he's still working on a lot. If you look at him right now, he's surrounded by a lot of books. He has been he
Mhm.
has been, I guess, on many radio and TV shows. He also runs his own podcast, like what I'm doing today, with guests, many of whom are writers and university professors. He has several degrees, a JD degree in law and theology, degree in biblical languages, Greek, Latin, and Hebrew. People are still doing that, people are still doing that. From Princeton Theological Seminary, he has extensive teaching experience at the secondary school level and also in universities and colleges. He's listed on the list of Defense Counsel for the International Criminal Court in The Hague in the Netherlands and has two international law certificates from Holland and France. Check out his website at www, of course, schktnshow.com. And I'm going to be profiling that website a little later. So you'll be able to see and make sure that you get onto the correct website. So welcome, Andrew, to Between the Lines.
Corinne, I am very, very happy you have given me the opportunity to speak about things and the topic you that I think you suggest to me is very, very dear to my heart.
Is it? Oh my God, that's
Yes,
good.
it is.
Very good. So we're going to have a lot to talk about. So the world's view of us, and you are coming from a biblical perspective. You're coming from an educational perspective. You have a lot of degrees, a lot of accolades, a lot of stuff. And how do we define ourselves in all of this? Now, let me give you a bit of context of how I'm thinking.
Hmm.
A lot of us are struggling in finding out who we are, Andrew.
It's
Who
true.
we are. And more, I find people are searching. They're searching. They don't know what they're searching for, but they're just searching. They know that something is wrong. They feel something is wrong, but they're coming up against a lot of resistance, internal resistance, external resistance. That resistance can come in various forms, a war within yourself, questioning a lot of things, whether internal or external. But people in a nutshell are trying to really figure out who they are, how they fit in, where they fit in. A lot of people are dissatisfied in their jobs, but they're doing it just because, it has to pay the bills. They have kids, they have responsibilities. What would society think? What would their family think if they do something different? I mean, my family is filled with doctors, lawyers, teachers. I'm
Mhm.
supposed to be
Mhm.
one of those
Mhm.
too.
Mhm.
I'm supposed to at age
Mhm.
30 have,
Mhm.
the car. I should be married. I should have at least one child by then. You
Mhm.
know, these are all the
Right.
things that we have grown into, that we have been socialized into thinking, into being. And when I looked at your bio, your original bio, I need to let people know it's really filled with a lot of stuff. And I'm like saying, wow, I am not going to say all of this thing about Andrew. Really, this heavy, all the accolades, and it's not that I'm trying to shorten it or belittle it or make it less or lessen you in any form. It's just that I just didn't know who you were. And I said, on this show, I wanted to find out who really is Andrew. And then that's how I came up with the topic of the world's view of us. How do we define ourselves? Because a lot of people are going to start off, including myself, because we are programmed that way, to say, I am so and so, I'm a teacher, I'm a whatever. But really, if you're stripped of all of that, Andrew, if you are stripped of everything that you know, that you have, that you give people your bio, that you tell people when you walk out and they say, tell us about yourself. If you were stripped of all that, who are you really? How would you define yourself?
Do you want me to answer, Corinne?
Of course.
Okay, this is what I say. Let me preface this by saying there are different ways in the world that people define themselves. Some people define themselves by their wealth or the amount of their material goods. I believe that's a mistake. I don't make that kind of judgment about people in that sense. Some people define themselves in other ways. They may a model or a beautiful woman, which you are. They may define themselves with that. No. Sometimes a person will define themselves by their job. I do this. I'm a doctor. I'm a scientist. Whatever. They're going to define themselves in that way. However, I believe these are misleading categories.
Right.
As you know, I am a Christian, and I adhere to the biblical worldview. And let me put it this way. Let's look, I'm sure you know at the first and second chapter of Genesis, and it is specifically stated, and this is why I believe that the total equality of women is specifically stated that everybody bears that divine image, men and women. No distinction.
Yeah.
He says it specifically there. He created man and woman in his image.
Right.
That's the beginning point, okay, of understanding who we are. Second way I define it is this is very difficult for people to accept, and perhaps even I don't really honestly totally accept it, but there are enough statements, certainly in the Hebrew Bible, referring to our duties to elderly people and the poor. And Jesus specifically states, this is one of his most radical statements, that the poor are blessed. That is an astounding statement for the world. I don't think the world goes along with that, Corinne. They really don't. No, they don't. Okay. And
I want you to repeat that statement again that you said, because it wasn't coming across as clear.
Okay. I say Jesus stated specifically, unequivocally, that the poor are blessed and the poor in spirit are blessed. Okay. This is a radical, revolutionary statement. The world has yet to come to terms with it. Okay. I believe it.
Right. Right.
And also, one of the statements in the Gospels, for example, it was said in his time, who is this man that eats with publicans and sinners? His contemporaries, Jesus' contemporaries, could not understand why he was associating with underclass people. And he had a reason for that. He may have had the conviction that they were superior. Far from being inferior, that they were superior. And also we said of Jesus, can anything good come out of Nazareth? Meaning, can anything good come out of this backwater? These are the attitudes of the world. Underclass people are nothing.
Right.
People that wealth count. I don't go along with that. Yes, that is my worldview. Those statements are my worldview. I don't believe in racial distinctions because I don't think, St. Paul says, there's neither a male nor female, Jew nor Greek, all in one in Christ. There are no racial distinctions or nationality distinctions or sexual distinctions in Christian belief. That is my worldview.
Right.
That's it.
So why do we in this current existence, because I'm sure It evolved over time, just like when we were talking previously before going on air. We talk about books evolving,
Mm.
and reading has evolved, things
Mhm.
evolve. Why is it in this current existence we we are still caught up in defining ourselves by these things, materialistic things that we keep running after on the hamster wheel, and not really in the pursuit of happiness, in the pursuit of joy, in the pursuit of fulfillment. And we are not realizing, few of us though, but most are not realizing that it's not satisfying them the more they run after these things. And those that are, as you say, poor in spirit, below, quote unquote, below the so-called standard.
Right.
Whoever set that standard, I don't know. Um, that those poor in spirit are much more happier, much more joyful, much more fulfilled within themselves, without being surrounded by all those materialistic things or running on the hamster wheel. What is causing us to not catch up with that reality or with that way of thinking that this is the way to go instead of running on the hamster wheel? Because you wouldn't find joy. You cannot define yourself by that, because that can be taken away from you at any point in time.
It's true. Let me say this. Many people will say to me, and that believing in the biblical message is backward, limited, perhaps see me as stupid in some way. I
That's
disagree.
fine. That's fine.
That's okay. I don't mind. But let's take an example of why there is a problem in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And there obviously is a big problem in society in the world. People are prejudiced. They are vengeful. Many operate on a hate and hostility basis rather than a love basis. It's unfortunate, but it's true. And I can say this, that that story, that narrative in the first chapter of Genesis, where the snake or Satan tempts Eden to eat of the tree, and he appeals to her pride. So you can be like a god.
Of course.
That caused that, according to that story, that caused the downfall of people and created a world of a mess.
Yeah.
It's better called sin, but obviously there is a problem in the world. And that story, maybe it can be taken literally, maybe not. But it provides a sort of explanation as to why people are confused, misled, and go and try to hold on to the things incorrectly that you suggest.
Yeah, because things were fine.
They were.
Things were very fine in the Garden of Eden. There wasn't a problem. You know, from what I understand, they were walking around naked. They never knew they were naked. They didn't have any need for clothes. They had everything they needed. I mean, there wasn't want of anything, or concern about goals or time or rushing to do anything or having to meet anybody's expectation. There wasn't any worry of fighting. I mean, all the things that are happening now, the jealousy,
that's right,
the pull down,
that's right.
You are better than me, I am lower than. There was no such thing.
It's nonsense, and you know it.
Yeah, they were living it up. They were living it up. So clearly something, I mean, just that temptation that happened there changed the whole course of history. And then I am going to say, from what I think about it, that is where the ego stepped in, because the fact that the Satan, the snake, came to Eve, he started to touch on something in her that she probably didn't realize that she had. And he started to put the ego side to her, saying, hey, you could be bigger than all this. You can have the eyes of God. I mean, come on.
That's right.
you could run this place. You
That's right.
that is where that is where the ego comes in.
That's right.
You know, you could do this, you could do that. Come on, where you're living now, I mean, you could be living grander than this. This is nothing.
It's
And
true.
this is where the ego has stepped into us, that suddenly we feel that we are better than, we need to be doing all of these things to achieve, to be better than, or to be perceived as better than, but it's not making you happy, which is what the original way of living is meant to be. When we are trying right now, Andrew, to go back to that sort of life, a lot of us, including myself, on that spiritual journey, to go back to that sort of life and unbrainwash unbrainwash the things that we have been told from childhood, from before childhood, now education, society, media, to go back. It's amazing. They say, what do they say? The more things change, the more things stay the same. We are trying to go back. We are trying to go back, and somebody might see that as regressing. Why would you want to go back to that when you have all of this? Why wouldn't I? I'm asking you, why wouldn't somebody?
Well, let me say this, and I'm sure you agree with it because you're pretty much on the perspective that I occupy. The mistake Eve made was this snake or Satan or whatever being was in that thing. He used to her pride.
That is
what causes us all to fall. And if you remember, I'm sure you do, Satan was cast out of heaven, they say.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to be under God. He wanted to be a ruler. He wanted to be the top man. He made that mistake, and that to me is the essential problem in the world: human pride.
Yeah. Because people attack our pride. If somebody says something to us that is offensive, obviously we feel is a personal attack. But most of the times it's not a personal attack. If not all of the time, it really speaks to the person themselves. It's not really something to you. It's really what they are projecting onto you, that they see that they need to deal with. They need to deal with. Yeah. Why aren't people recognizing that?
Because many, as you pointed out, Corinne, because of people are assaulted, particularly today, with all kinds of messages and opinions and ideas. And that creates a huge amount of confusion, I think, in people's thinking, which you just described. And we have this simple, basic setup, which we told was the way things should be. And then we have this situation in society today in the world where there was this thing happen, whatever it was, that brought us all down to this mess.
But there are some of us who recognize this and decided they're not taking that path.
That's right.
What it is that made a difference between those who have become aware, conscious of what's happening, and why are some people still unconscious?
I think there's so many reasons why people do things, as you know, do things they do. Sometimes they've been told things by their family. I'm not criticizing people. I mean, they have got messages from their family. Say the message might be, I have racial superiority. That message might have been implanted in them by their family from being a kid. That's one factor. Also, they get varying messages from sources that take the media. Now, in my opinion, I believe people are entitled to their opinions, and whatever they are, I respect them. But the media cannot be your source of truth. They are out to make money for themselves, essentially, Corinne.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. They manipulate people. They twist people. I think that's part of the problem.
They're like the snake in the garden.
They are. And, I mean, that's why it's so important to me to read books, because
Yeah.
you are not going to get any truth from computers or TV. Forget it.
But even the books, you have to be careful as well and discern that, because the books are written by man. When I say man, I mean people.
That's right.
So it's another form of media. It's just print media.
That's true.
So I firmly believe that to really know the truth, you have to look within. People need to really go within, but they're scared. It's very scary to take that journey of looking within yourself and understanding who you are. And we're talking about defining ourselves on the world's view, because we have a worldview, we have a family view of us, we have the school's view of us that we need to keep up with. You go to a particular school and you're supposed to carry yourself a particular way. This is your alma mater. It is expected that when you meet up with your past schoolmates, that you're still carrying yourself in this particular, because they have an image. So you have the family view, you have the world view, you have the school view, you have the husband view, you have the wife view.
That's very true.
What happened to your view? Where do you, after you've taken into consideration all these people, and not even taken into consideration, they're bombarding you, they're assaulting you. Where are you, me, you, the I, in all of this?
You're right, Corinne. I agree with you. I think with what you're saying, many people, I include myself, have an inability to take a look at themselves. People, if they do take a look at themselves, and I include myself, they tend to not see their failings, not see their faults, which I have or anybody does. And they usually will defend themselves and see themselves as, frankly, I hate to say this, many people take this position that they're great.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. The thing about it is, it's not a matter of looking in to find fault or to find failure, because we're not failures. And this is where we need to understand. We are not failures. You started off by saying we are created in the divine's image, in God's image, however people want to term that greater or higher source. If we are perfect in his image, we are a part of him, he is in us, he or she, if you want, whichever gender you want to use, is in us, then come on. Then there's no failures, there's no imperfection. What you see in your body, what you see on your body, that shell that you're borrowed, your length for a particular time, is not really you. This is the vehicle that is being used while you're on this earth. But this is not really you. You borrowed your length, that physical form, for a time. We don't know how long that form will last.
No.
And if you see a wart or some sort of mole or something, you find, hey, that's a problem. Everybody's seeing it, or you have a birthmark that is staring in everybody's face, and you become very sensitive about it. Nobody really cares, and you shouldn't care. You're looking at the imperfections as opposed to saying, hey, this was given to me, this is mine, I own it, this is my body, this is my form, I love it, I am perfect, this is this is it. So we have to start looking at ourselves, as you said in the beginning, in the image of the higher being.
That's right.
And stop defining ourselves by what the media show about size. This one should be skinnier. You should not be so dark. You should.
I'm particularly victimized, Corinne. I think they are.
Yeah, it's like
according to the media, you're supposed to be 25 and startlingly beautiful. If you're not,
right. Right. At 30, you're supposed to be this. At 40, whatever. Who came up with that crap? You need to stop that. You need to say, hold up. I cannot be this to everybody.
Right.
You need to just put a stop to it and stop being defined by the family, the school, the world, the media, your job, and just say stop. Everybody just needs to hold up and stop. and you tell them who you are. But you can't tell the world, and you can't tell your family and all these other whatever they may be called coming to assault you to tell you who you are. You must know yourself, and that takes a journey. Even the degrees and the accolades and the awards and all of those does not define you, because you can be stripped. Let's look at those sport athletes when they work so hard and they have gotten gold medals at the Olympics. And the Olympics is every 4 years. It takes them a while to get back into the Olympics and train every 4 years. And they're stripped of their medals. They found something about it, whether drug or whatever, and they're stripped. Can you imagine the pain that they go through when they hear that they're stripped? That goes down in history, Andrew, in history.
Right.
So it's not just a matter that they tell them in secret. It's in the media. It's in the books.
Right.
The world knows about the stripping. Can you imagine the pain? We have to look. We define ourselves by these gold medals, by these accolades.
That's right.
We are nobody. Nobody wants us. We suddenly start to feel we are not worthy anymore. How would people look at us? They hide. They stay away. No, we need to stop bemoaning and belittling ourselves in such a fashion. Yeah. Let me
ask you this, Corinne. Let me throw this question in front of you. Because we are made in the image of God, which I think is so, you think there's more good in the world than evil?
Yes.
There's a lot of evil.
I believe that there's more good in the world. I believe that there is good. It's not a matter of more or less. I believe that there is good in the world. And deep down in everyone, there is a spark of good. Because evil is a construct that is a concept that we create to label others. So we look at somebody and we look at things and say that is evil. That person is evil based on our perception and what we have been told evil is. But that person is inherently good. Something happened along the way that caused that person to be that way. A childhood trauma, something that caused that. The reason why some of us may not have been led down that path, probably there were restrictions that did not allow us, because I think we are all prone to do something bad. We are all prone to do something evil, according to the concept. But some of us, because of the consequences, we never went down that path. But if there were none, we probably would have. So inherently, I think we are all good. We are all good because we are God's creations.
Right.
It's just some of us, because of the unhealed wounds and the trauma that we have faced, we just feel that there's no other choice, and this is the path we have, because some people have turned around their lives from let's call it evil to good.
But then how do you explain, if you say that people are basically good, and that may be so, I'm not prepared to say anything one way or the other. I think it's true that there's more good than bad in the people, but why is it there could be, in the past 20th century, 6 or 7 genocides? Rwanda, Pol Pot, Soviet communism, Hitler. Why do these, if people are good, why do they do that?
I don't know. It's called free will. That is what all of us have. We have free will. So people choose what they want to do, just like how Eve chose to take a bite, to take that apple and give it to Adam. The ego sets in and creates, this false self convinces us that this is better. This is for the greater good. And we feel that we are doing something that would, of course, be for the greater good, which is why people fight religious wars. I'm doing this for the greater good. I'm going to be a part of this. And I'm going to be a martyr. That is how they perceive it. Not realize, and they see whatever little sacrifice. What's the loss of a few lives? It might be thousands or hundreds of thousands, but it is for the greater good. Even if they die, which most of them do, as part of the process, they know that it's going to, or they feel, or they perceive, or they have been trained to believe that it's going to be years, generation down the line. It's worth it, their debt or the debts of others for the greater good. So it comes right back to the ego once again,
Yeah,
convincing you that it is for the best.
that is true. And the point you just made about martyrdom based on religious belief, it's very common in a lot of religions, most religions actually. And you're right about that. I guess the person feels they're going to better society doing that or something.
Yeah. And they have their justification. You can justify anything. You can justify anything, good or bad, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter. You can justify your reason for doing anything. But of course, you're getting that justification from ego. It is really for that false self convincing you, hey, you're going to be better off. Just the same way how with the apple. If you could run this place, you could.
Yeah, the worst element in her thinking.
Right, you can have a better life. What do you mean, right? What do you mean you can't eat from this tree? This tree is going to give you everything that you need and then some. So it comes right back to that false self. And what we really need to do, if we're looking at defining ourselves, is to understand the difference between defining yourself between the world's view and what have you been taught up to this point, compared to defining yourself with what was originally divinely created for you.
Let me ask you this, Corinne. Let me throw this out to you. Do you believe that the people who get power, that they can be a problem for having that power for other people?
The people who get power, if it can be,
they will abuse it.
I wouldn't say that they will. It all depends. It all depends on the character, the person. It comes right back to who you are, knowing who you are, and what's your objective or motive. If you know what your purpose is in life and having that power, because let's say, for example, Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. These people had power. They may not, the kind of power that they had was more than presidents, more than anybody else.
That's true.
More than presidents. And they didn't do it. They didn't do it with violence. They didn't do it with anything. So it depends on how you perceive power. Some people perceive power as being able to wield it and just point a finger and say, do this, and this happens, like the power of God or whatever, and it goes to people's heads. And with all of them, it was for the greater good. They fought for something, but they fought for it in a very civil, silent, quiet mode. And they had millions of people around the world following them.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
So I wouldn't say it will turn out to be something bad. There will be lives lost. With anything to do with power, there will be lives lost. Because there will be people who are going to fight it down. Just like the world, there's a law of polarity. You have plus and minus. You're going to have resistance. You're going to have a fight. That is what will happen. But just like I mentioned before, it is for the greater good. And if you feel that what you're doing will help generations to come,
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. To give you two examples, I come to my mind about when people get power. Let's take an example of a marriage.
Yes.
Where the husband, it's a non-working spouse, woman has kids, homeless. It can happen and has happened. That husband will abuse the power he has acquired over his wife. Correct?
Right. You're saying that which one is working? The husband is working?
The wife is not working. She's at home with the kids. And he is theoretically supporting the family.
Right.
That person, I'm not saying all men do this.
Right.
There's a percentage of men that will abuse that power they have as a husband. Correct?
Not all of them may do it, but you see, it comes back to why would somebody who claims that they love you or supposed to love you want to abuse you? If you love something, why would you
They
abuse
do
it?
it.
Yeah, they do it because they feel that they have something over you. I am bringing money into the house. I am taking care of you. I am, paying the bills, whatever.
Right.
But the wife is still at home making sure that the home is intact in order for him to be able to come in too. Even though she may not have a monetary payment for that. If you were to hire somebody to do what the mother was doing or the wife, you couldn't pay for that. You couldn't pay for that. For all the things that she's doing, you couldn't pay for that. Okay, because if we were to break that down, I could break it down as a woman for you in all different parts, and you would have to hire several people in order to do the things that the wife or the mother is doing. So if somebody is treating a wife or a non-working spouse in that way, then I would suggest you get out of it immediately, because nobody is supposed to be abusing or using or leveraging something that they have over you. As I say, it comes back to the ego again, because if that person feels, or let's say the man in this instance, in your example, feels that he has a job now, he can walk into that same job the next day and lose it. How would he feel? How would he feel? He's not thinking about that at the moment.
Brought down, Corinne, like you said.
Yeah. Right. So if somebody's treating you that way, it was nice and all hunky-dory when both spouses were working, and as soon as one isn't working, or a decision is made for one not to work and the other to work, and you suddenly start to abuse. No. You are not more than me. You are not more than me. And it speaks to the person. It's not a matter of the wife, but it speaks to the type of character and person that the man is in this example. And anybody in that situation, I would say get out of it, because it is showing you who you're living with in the worst situation. Because when situations become bad, you actually get to see the real person coming out, showing at you. So if you're seeing these things in that particular situation, it's not going to get any better. And if anybody's hoping that it would get better, it's not. Don't wait for it to get better. Don't think that if you get a job, it will improve, because he will use something else. He might say, oh, I'm still making more money than you. I am still doing this. And no, there shouldn't be, with two people in a relationship, there shouldn't be a power play, a competition between two people at no time.
That's the worst.
At no time there should be any. And if you think there's competition and power play, you need to get out. And you would have sensed this from early in the relationship before getting married, and you made excuses. You need to get out of it. Nobody should be competing with you, whether in a marriage, in a friendship, as a neighbor, as a co-worker. Nobody should be competing with you and power playing with you.
Yeah, it's true. Let me give you another example of the abuse of power, which I have observed. Sometimes if you're in a job, you'll have a person above you, a boss, right?
Yes.
There are instances where that boss is going to push you around.
Yes.
If you look at that boss in the wrong way, if you speak in the wrong way, I'm not saying it happens all the time. There are instances where you will be fired.
And that's fine, because it is not a reflection of me. Once you know it is not a reflection of you, it is more a reflection of the boss, then you're good. Because you must know. You see, it comes back to knowing who you are and how you define yourself. The person, the boss must have, as I said, it's projection. They have recognized something that they are projecting onto you that is upsetting them, that they are not willing to deal with within themselves. So getting rid of you, they feel that they're getting rid of the situation, but they're still dealing with the hurt and pain that they don't want to accept and recognize. So that's fine. Getting rid of you, it would be, and normally is, a blessing when you leave, because greater things.
They're still depriving you of your source of income in doing that.
Temporarily, that's fine. But what I'm saying to you, most of the times, as you may have realized, people who were probably fired, they are thankful, because it allowed them to look within themselves and say, hey, now I have the opportunity to probably start my own business, the things that I always wanted to do, or somebody else needs me, I got a better job, or
Right.
whatever it may be.
Uh-huh.
So you always have to look at it as a means by which you can be better. You will be better.
Mhm.
You're not defined by that job. If
Right.
you're in that job and you're fired, you're not defined by that job. That's not the only thing. The what? That's the. It comes just like a relationship. You feel that this man is the only man for you, or this woman is the
Mhm.
only woman for you. There's nobody else in the world.
Uh-huh.
No, and you hold on, and
Right.
because you hold on, you take the abuse,
Mhm.
you take the outlash, you take the everything because you feel this is the only one. We have to stop thinking like that.
That's
We
true.
are we are deserving. We are deserving of love and compassion and equality from anyone. And there are lots of people. There are 8 billion, from what I understand. I don't know what the figure is. People in the world, and so hello, one person is going to define you. Come on, one person cannot define you. It doesn't determine your self worth. So if you're fired from your job, say hallelujah. Start
Right.
a party, throw a party, right? And start looking at, because probably most of the times, Andrew, a lot of these people who are fired, they were always thinking of something that they wanted to do. They wanted to get out, but they didn't know how. And
Mhm.
so the firing comes at the right time.
Mhm.
And now they're able to do it. But the boss is still left there having to deal with whatever they have to deal with. Whereas you moved on. Who is the better one in the situation? The one who got fired or the boss?
Let me ask you this, Corinne. This is a question that has been in my mind for a long time. Why is it, if you say people are good, if you say that's so, why can't they love other people?
Because they don't love themselves.
Oh, I see. You think it's a problem within that person.
It is. It's always a problem within you because they don't love themselves. So they don't know how to show love. They don't know what love is. They have issues within themselves
Right.
that they are unable to deal with. And so they don't know. If you don't know love, how can you show love or give love? You can't.
That's true. For example, if you notice, I don't know, I like to talk to children because children are willing to, they're willing to talk to you
Of
without
course.
defending,
They,
without defending themselves.
they have no egos at that age, depending on the age you're talking about. The younger they are, they're just like,
No,
they're
they don't.
free. They're free. Their minds haven't been um, brainwashed or influenced at a certain point. Let's say probably up to age 3, age 5. They haven't, and 5 is pushing it.
Right.
They are just innocent beings doing their thing. They can be anything, anyone. They could fly. They can do
Right.
whatever. Yeah. So when you talk to a child that age, their mind hasn't been influenced
Oh,
yet. So when you talk to a child, you're getting true innocence
yeah.
compared to an adult who is really a mess.
Adults, as they move on in life, they become more and more of a mess.
Yeah, they're more of a mess. They're more of a mess. And this is why the sooner, yeah, and this is why the sooner you pick up on what's happening with you, you can take charge of that and put a stop to it, hold the brakes and say, hey, I don't know how much longer I have. I need to do something about this now and make whatever the rest of your life the best of your life.
Right.
Yeah?
It's true.
Yeah. I wanna showcase your website.
Okay.
Let me see if I can pull it up here. Tell me what it is again.
Shatkinshow.com. SCHATKIN show.com.
Hold on. I went to shaktin.com.
That's the second one. There's two of them.
One second. I'm pulling it up here. All right. So, yeah. Here we go.
Oh, there it is. Right.
Yeah. So the Andrew Shaktin Show, Truth on the Forefront of Reality. And you turned my show into your show. You were asking me questions more than
I was. Well, you want to think of coming on my show? I'd like to have you.
Yeah, I would love to be on your show. You just let me know when.
I just said you made a very good point, Corinne. Don't mean to interrupt you. This business of competition destroys relationships.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Competition. I know of it. I know of it all too well. Competition and power play.
It destroys any possibility,
Yeah.
not only of relationships, but of love.
Anything at all. It makes no sense. But if you dig deep into that whole competition, as I said, it comes back to the ego. I want to be better than you. I need to up you. I need to one up you. Why? You know,
That's
you
right.
have
I don't know.
you have something that I want, and I want to be better than. And why? What? At what point?
Where does it get you and me? If a person enters into that thinking, where does it get them?
That is exactly what I'm saying. When does it end? Why can't I just say, look, Andrew knows this better than me, and I don't need to know that. If I need to have information, I just go to Andrew for that, because he knows that more than me, and I'm good. I don't need to know that.
From what I'm listening to you, you have raised my consciousness, Corinne. You have entered into my thoughts and improved them. I'm very happy to have talked to you.
I am happy to be able to do that. It tells me that my journey I'm on the right path, and I'm doing the right things, and I still have a lot more to learn, and I'm getting there. So I'm happy to be able to make you more aware and make you more conscious, and our listeners, the people who will be listening and watching this recording, that they too are going to start questioning. It starts with questioning, just questioning everything that you know. Why? Question your feelings, whatever feelings that's coming up or swelling up within you. Question it. Why? And don't feel any way if somebody don't have the answer. That's okay. The answer will come to you.
Right.
The answer will come to you. So here's your show, The Truth on the Forefront of Reality. You're on iTunes, Android via RSS feed. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. You can download the shows, the blogs, everything you might want to do.
Okay. Beautiful. And you can subscribe here.
You can subscribe. Yep.
Yeah. Nice. Great. All right. So this is the Andrew Shakting Show, and I want to come back here to Andrew, your site. Oops, 1 second. Oops, I have subscribed here. There we are.
Oh, there it is.
Yes. So this is your website. And of course, you have your publications here.
There they are.
Yes. So
I'm publishing a new one if anybody wants to know on the parables.
Okay. Wonderful. And of course, this is a lengthy, detailed bio of Andrews if you want to get to know more about him. And of course, you can contact him. These are the various ways to contact him. Andrew, I want to say it's been a pleasure having you on my show. I enjoyed the conversation. Yeah?
I enjoyed very much getting to know you as a person.
Yes.
And understanding your thinking. And I listened and as I said, your points you made were quite good.
Thank you. And so were yours. So were your points.
It's glad to meet you, Corinne.
Yes, I'm happy to have you, and it's glad to have you on my show. I mean, I hope it helps persons to be able to, like I said, question and seek out the truth, seek out the answers. Don't believe, what somebody tells you. You be your own seeker. Yeah. Find the truth, but the truth is really within. It's not outside of you. It's really within. Thank you so much, Andrew, for being on Between the Lines.
Anytime. And if I'll email you if you want to appear on my show. You'd be very welcome. I'd like to hear more of your thinking, more of your points, more of your insights.
Thank you. I look forward to being on your show. Thank you so much, Andrew, for being on Between the Lines.
Okay, bye.